Hey guys, so I'm going to do a quick review of my 2019 VW egolf. I'm going to go through the deal that I got on it. I'm going to go through the gas savings and maintenance savings I expect to realize, some of my likes and dislikes, and I go over why I decided throughout the video, right, to swap to an electric car from a 2017 VW GTI. So the deal. MSRP on this car with the packages that it has, driver assist package, and I think there was a first aid kit already on it. This is the base SE model because the more expensive model doesn't give you any additional range, and that's all I wanted the car for. So $33,275. You take $10,000 off from the factory from VW for, I think it was a limited time deal. Not sure how often they give that deal, but take that $10,000 off, brings you down to $23,275. You add tax, title, license, so you're at, let's say, about $25,300. It may have been a little bit more than that. And then you add you take out the tax credits. So from the around $25,000 that I was at, you take out $10,000, $7,500 from federal, state of California $2,500. You actually take another $1,000 out from Southern California Edison, who's also offering a $1,000 credit if you're an SCE customer and you meet some of certain other conditions if your car qualifies and everything. This car does. So basically that puts me at a little under $15,000. The $2,500 credit for state of California, if you're at certain income levels, goes away because they don't have funding for everybody right now. They ran out of that funding. Lower incomes, you can still get it. Higher incomes, you have to wait till they refund this program. So if I get that, I'll basically be at around a little over $14,000 for the car. In order to get that $10,000 off, I did have to sign up for a higher interest rate, which was 5.9%. I have to keep that loan for at least 6 months, which cost me $400 in interest for that 6-month period. Then I can go and get it refied or just buy the car outright without any penalties. If I pay it off early, I get charged a $1,500 penalty, so I won't do that. If I didn't pay this $400 in interest over 6 months with this high interest rate, then I would have to pay $4,000 more for the car. For me, 10% of that totally worth paying to get a car for $10,000 off rather than $6,000 off. So savings, I go about 65 miles round trip to work every day in really heavy traffic, and I spend between $300 and $350, $360 a month in gas just on the GTI that I used to drive. That took premium gas. I was averaging not that great of a MPG as a result of the way that I drive. So anyway, I expect to save between $3,600 and maybe $4,000, maybe a little over $4,000 a year in maintenance and fuel cost. That is a conservative estimate and also includes whatever the MPG equivalent was on this car. So the difference or the differential is factored in. So around $4,000 a year probably. The likes and dislikes. So up to this point, got the car for a little over $14,000. Expect to save $4,000 a year in fuel and maintenance. Because on this car, again, all I'm doing is tires, brakes, and there'll be some different intervals at which I'll just get the motor checked out and everything and make sure nothing's going wrong. Likes and dislikes. Number one of the likes, fantastic sound system. I had the basic version sound system, not the Fender audio, in the 2017 VW GTI. This one, whatever it came with the basic also. And on this car, this stereo is amazing. It's fantastic. The sound is great. The digital antenna, which I have had issues with on my 4Runner and even on my GTI, where it'd be weird because every now and then it, I guess, probably switch to a different signal or something. It would sound funny and it would disconnect and be very weird. Not on this car. This radio is fantastic. Number two, it's an electric car, obviously very quiet. You do hear a little bit more wind because you don't hear the engine covering the noise of the wind like you do on regular cars. But all in all, very quiet. Great car. Number three, no gas station stops. Absolutely love not having to stop at the gas station. I go to work. If I feel like it, I'll plug in there. If I don't, I'll just come right back home and I'll plug it right into my regular outlet in the garage, with having adjusted some settings on the car so that I don't blow the fuse on my garage, or the breaker or whatever. Number four, regular outlet charging, right, which I actually just talked about. So I changed the amp settings to below 15 because I think it's a 15 amp plug, and by the morning I've got the charge that I need to get to work. And I will do another video on exactly what that charge ends up being, because I don't remember offhand right now, and I don't feel like thinking about that. So number five, I want to say, drives much like a Golf. All the interior, so your turn radius is fantastic, just like any VW. Your steering is great. Not extremely responsive or anything, but just fantastic for, a car that I'm literally using just for commuting. All of your interior quality, all the materials, all the feels of everything, all of them are fantastic. Just like any VW, all the materials and everything that they use are good quality. The layout, everything is fantastic. And the car looks just like a Golf. Like, if it didn't have this badge on it and the not as nice wheels, you wouldn't realize that this is not a Golf. You would entirely believe that this is Golf. And again, if it wasn't so quiet as well. Number six, carpool sticker. So in California, you are given a carpool sticker if you buy certain electric cars, and I think I want to say it lasts 3 years or something. I'll have to do a little bit more research on that, but as soon as I get my registration, I will apply for that. In California also, though, if you make more than, I want to say $300,000 a year, I believe, you can either get the sticker or the credit. So just an FYI, if you make over $300,000 and expecting to get a credit and a sticker, you won't, not in California. Regenerative braking. I thought I would not like regenerative braking. I absolutely love it. I only use one pedal in traffic for the most part. Let go of the pedal, I put it on full high, it regenerates. By the end of 50% of my commute, which is just down a certain freeway here, before I hit the next half of my commute, I basically gain 4 miles of range instead of using any. And that's half my commute, so that's pretty cool. And then dislikes. So let's go into dislikes. Low range, right? So this car, I think it has a stated range of 125 miles. In my experience, if I full on charge this, and I have heard that that's not the best thing to do for your battery life, I can get 145 miles tops when I recharge it really properly, and it actually holds. Sometimes, one time it reflected 165, and right when I started driving, it dropped to 140 or 145, and the 145 actually held. So, but still, if I would have paid the actual MSRP or something on this car, which you never do when you buy a car anyway, and you compare it to some of the other cars that are available, their ranges are way better than this range. So not a fan of the range. Uphill kills the range. I drove the car through the toll road one time, going uphill entirely, and that thing, it just burned range really fast. But again, coming down with regenerative braking, you gain some of that back, but you still don't gain as much as you lost going up. The other thing, which I did not realize, I did a bunch of research beforehand, went to Edmunds, read on TrueCar, read on Car and Driver, all these different places and everything. I realized afterwards that in the bottom of the Edmunds article, under, there were 40, 50 bullet points that they had in there. One of the bullet points was that the car goes a maximum of 85 miles an hour. I didn't see that anywhere else on VW site, search like hell. you will not likely find any mention of this 85 miles per hour top speed. So my fault for missing that. My fault for not going on well, it was traffic hours, so I couldn't take the test drive onto the freeway and max out. When I was coming home, I found that out. That was not great news. And then when your battery is running low, probably a smart feature to have, when your battery is running low, I want to say under like 33 miles or something left of range, the car forces you into this super eco mode and drives extremely slow. There might be a setting where I can change that, not entirely sure, but when I am 2 miles from home and I run into this 33 mile range, I'm gonna plug it in right when I get home anyway. I would like for me to be able to make the decision on whether or not I want to start driving economically, or if I just want to speed home and plug it in and be done with it. Kind of annoying that I have to get into this super eco mode. No real excitement, but so that's a negative, but it's also a consequence of the decision I made, right? I decided when I'm driving to work, I mean, this is an entirely commuting car. I don't need any excitement or anything, but you know, it's just, it is what it is. It's not that exciting of a car, you know. No spare tire, kind of like range anxiety. You realize after a while you don't need that much of a range on your day-to-day, but it is, you still have this anxiety, you know, you keep looking at the range. I've never looked at my car's gas range as much as I have on this car, and I've never been stranded or anything. It's only been a few weeks, but I've never been stranded, so it is there. It slowly goes away, and that's fine and everything, but the spare tire is kind of the same thing, right? That the fact that it doesn't have a spare tire, probably to save on gas, and they do give you a little pump or air compressor or whatever to make up for that. It still kind of bothers me. I like having my spare tire just in case. I can't remember the last time I used one, but for some reason it still gives me anxiety. The look of the wheels. The wheels, I don't think look that fantastic. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these cars. That is the wheel. The wheel is the way it is because it wants to save. I guess there's less drag caused by these wheels and everything, so they're allow you a better range. So I will never swap them out again because I didn't buy the car for excitement. I bought it for economy, and so it is what it is. But I think that is it. All right, guys. So that's basically all I have. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We can talk through what the deal was that I got, how I got it, and I'll post more videos as I figure out what the range ends up being over a longer period of time. So thanks, guys.